I'm now going to ask you in perhaps a question in the form of a leader who's also coming across as a visionary. Is there are lots of folks here who, post the lifting of the lockdown, post hypothetically things coming back to a sense of normalcy, uh, will also want to use this experience to perhaps craft newer concepts of work spaces, workplaces. The workforce or a gig economy of sorts is already clear and present. But perhaps also reimagine the concept of work by itself. Now, what in your estimate is the real guidance that you would like to impart for organizations that want to and therefore should reimagine the concept of workspaces?
Good question. And I have been actually thinking about this because it's been a month since we've been
Yeah,
home.
yeah,
Yeah. And India's just announced a lockdown for another 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Um, if this becomes a norm, let's say for a little bit more extended period of time, and maybe if you have to do this for a quarter together, I think um, business has to continue. Okay. And and the way we are working leads us to reimagine what the future could look like,
Mm,
right? Um, so if I start from pure in something that I'm passionate about, um, is the talent pool available, right? I just see immense amount of opportunity for us to get diverse talent into our workforce, okay, and really enable better business outcomes therefore, because suddenly you have people who possibly cannot come to office,
mm,
have a special ability. Suddenly you have all of those women who took a break for whatever reason,
mm,
okay, who can be treated as restarters, and who can be, who can be made, who can be inducted into your included into your organization even on a part-time basis.
yeah,
So
yeah,
really the diversity aspect of a workforce can change tremendously because the
right.
potential to hire is so high. If I have to look at how they work, the people at work will have to communicate with each other. I think there will have to be a greater emphasis on building relationships.
Mm,
We've all grown up, saying face to face is important, meeting together is important. That's why you need to travel out and stuff like that, right? When you meet each other face to face, you build a bond that you can then take over on a telephone conversation later. But if you're not able to meet, okay, what is it and how do you really forge and cement new relationships going
relationships.
forward? Yeah. So I think that's going to be also a new norm. From a sheer technology perspective, I think there will be a very enhanced perspective of and focus on security
True
and
that.
privacy. Yeah, governance. I think these three will become very, very important because you will suddenly have your workforce connected from different places across the globe. You will have your workforce, sitting and working from different kinds of equipment. If you can't, if they have their own equipment and they're on VDI, how do you enable endpoint security, and
Yeah.
how do you enable edge security, right? And really, the technology solutions in those two have to become far more robust in my
Mm, mm,
opinion. From really a work perspective, I think there will be a huge focus, in my opinion, on open source, on crowdsourcing, your solutions. We've already started seeing a lot of crowdsourcing. We've already seen developers today, the millennials and the Gen Zs of today, wanting to, focus out on open source technology. I do believe that will become far more relevant in the future, in terms of picking up solutions that can match with each other and us really opening up, you know are doors to development that's happening outside of the office, and how do you kind of insource it and still leverage the open source environment. So to my extent, I think those are really the key things. We have already seen a high usage of RPA. Okay, we already
Yes.
see humans working with bots. I think that will increase. The entire concept of 3D printing, in my opinion, will be very high. So I see in the next 10, 12 years, focus would be higher on automation, on RPA. AI will continue, AML will continue. But I do also see from a technology perspective, 3D printing becoming far more relevant to all of us.